Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, welcome to episode 43 of the Fightersrep podcast, aka the FRP. I'm your host of Fightersrep, Fez, alongside my legendary, the Richmond Heights Sasquatch, Gary Ignorant Behavior. Gary, how you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Had a long day. Baseball, doing stuff a little bit late, but here we are.
Hey, I was rushing too. Man. Had a long day at work too. Yeah, after school, UM. I was at UM today.
Working over there? What were you doing out there?
Of course, working. I wouldn't go to there for no reason. I'm FSU, baby.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So what I wanted to talk about today, what we're talking about today, Shakur Stevenson won the fight, Gary, but did he lose the war? Right? And that's kind of what I wanted to get into. We touched on this a little bit in the post-fight, and a lot of stuff has happened since the fight. There's been a lot of talk. We've kind of gone back in hindsight and listened to some of the things Tim Bradley said. I saw one post where he was saying, during the fight, I got my coffee, meaning that this guy is boring, so I'm drinking my coffee so I can stay up and watch him fight. I've seen people kind of expand on the whole fans leaving the arena nearing the end of the fight. And of course, it's the end of his contract with Top Rank. And so that's kind of where I'm going with this, this entire topic is such a fantastic talent. And I'm hearing all these good things. Oh, he's got so much skill and he was so dominant and this and that. But it seems he may have won the fight and lost the war, Gary. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I want to say that after sitting back, after the fight, had a few tossed back and we did a video. And I'm thinking about it, and you said the fans walking out. But after hearing a few people, and I'm like, they're like, that's not normal to go to the crowd. And so I'm like, okay, maybe I was wrong. This is the first on Fightersrep.
Wait a minute. Is there a replay button with ignorant behavior saying he was wrong?
Hey, I guess it was, I could swear I saw that before. And maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but maybe it was also politics. And maybe it was just ESPN. And maybe it's just ESPN because ESPN hasn't been in the boxing business like that either. They just got into it in the last few years. So maybe that's just what they do. I don't know.
You know what I think it is, Gary? I think in Miami especially, right, our fans are so notoriously disloyal, unfortunately. And I feel like we've seen that so many times with Miami fans, and I'm the biggest Miami fan. I like the Dolphins. I like the Heat. I like everything Miami. But you see it a lot with the Miami fans. I think we've seen it in a lot of sports, especially football, man. You're a big football guy, and we've seen that, we've seen that. But in boxing, I just can't recall having seen that before. Go ahead.
I thought I've seen it. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I did. Maybe I'm mixing sports up, but fans leaving and them showing fans leaving. But when I listen to someone, they were like, normally they black that out because that's bad for business. You don't want people to see that. And so I was like, you know what? Maybe I was a little hyped. Maybe I'm like, yo, it was boring. Like, yeah, I get it. And I also seen another guy from Shakur's hometown, seemed like he knew Shakur and everything, knew his family. And he was saying, yo, that was people were walking out because of whatever. And Shakur tried to say they paid people to walk out. I don't believe that. to kind of sabotage him.
I don't believe that. That's a Ryan Garcia level conspiracy theory right there.
I mean, it is what it is. But did he lose the war? No, I don't think he lost the war. The war still's going. The war ain't over till he fights Tank. Now, did it put a dent in His popularity, maybe.
Yeah.
Did it put a dent in people thinking that he could actually give Tank a go? Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, you did hurt the fight between you and Tank. You say it's a mega fight, but you hurt a little bit because Tank is doing what he needs to do to promote the fight.
Yeah.
He's beating up people.
Gary, but what I guess what I'm trying to, the analogy I'm trying to draw, I guess the metaphor that I'm trying to create here is, you know, the war is not the fight versus Tank. For me, the war is the boxing career and the battle. Maybe it's more of a battle between him and Top Rank because, you know, in showing what they showed and hearing what Tim Bradley said and, you know, and in the way we saw him arguing with his grandfather and, you know, a lot of the things presented, right, in that broadcast for me made it seem like there was almost a concerted effort, right, to sort of put him out there as a boring fighter and put him out there as a boring fighter who's not really willing to change and be entertaining. And it's exacerbated, Gary, when you're at the end of your contractual agreement with the promoter, because again, you want to go in to the renewed contracts, right, or the renewed negotiation with leverage. You want to go in with leverage, you know what I mean? And so it just, as a promoter myself, right, Gary, and you know, you're kind of, whether you like it or not, you're kind of deeply involved in this shit now too with me. Tell me if I'm wrong. If Shakur was ours, if he was a Fightersrep fighter, is that how you would send him off if you had any sort of interest in going to a negotiating table with him again? I mean, I'm looking at it from two different perspectives, right? Maybe that's how I would send him off in order to have the upper hand in negotiation. But I'm not that ruthless. I have a conscience, unfortunately, which is not a thing a promoter should have.
Well, here's the thing.
Okay, well, let me just complete
this
thought.
Go ahead.
So do you think
Go ahead, heat up.
So do you think they kind of purposely did this in order to create leverage for themselves? Or do you think they're kind of doing this in order to sink the ship? Hey, to hell with it. Someone else can have this problem. Look at this problem. Look at this problem. We don't want it. We're pointing it out before we let it go so everybody knows, hey, this is a problem we don't want. See ya. Which one do you think it is, if any? It could be none.
Well, here's my thing is, I mean, it's conspiracy theories out there, like, because Oshaki.
Oh my God! Don't bring that name up.
Hold on, wait.
Don't bring that name up. I'm
just telling you. Let me go. I got you, George. Because they were saying Oshaki is almost at the end of his.
Jihad. Shout out to Jihad, the great in here. Appreciate you. Jihad says agreed.
Appreciate you, brother. You know, it was conspiracy theory because they're saying Oshaki's at the end of his contract too. Damn. And you know, he has, I think he has one more fight on the top rank after this fight.
Wow.
And so they're saying, oh, maybe they sabotage both of them. But at the end of the day, if you handle business the way you need to, they can't. And I'm not putting it all on Shakur or Shaki or whatever, because I feel for Shaki because he.
No, you can't
come
put
on,
nothing
man.
on him, bro. You can't put
I feel for him, but let's be honest. If we be honest, we gotta say that Abdullah Mason fight was more entertaining. Yeah. Keyshawn Davis fight was more entertaining. And then when you get to
Oshaki.
Yeah, then Oshaki. When you get to Oshaki, it wasn't that entertaining.
I mean, Gary. I mean, they're more entertaining for the casual fan, for sure.
That's who pays your bills. That's who pays your bills, George.
No, I hear you. But you mean
I love it, but it ain't about me. It's not about me.
Yeah, I hear you.
And so, you know, if you step on the gas, Oshaki was clearly better. He won. It was basically a shutout. But if you step on the gas and get people out of here and try to take more risks, don't be so much risk adverse and be scared to like, nah, I'm winning. I can cruise on this. Same thing with Shakur, even though I get it. Because Shakur's style is a counterpuncher. And he only gonna go as much as you go. If you don't go, he's not gonna go. You know what I mean? He's gonna take it and he's gonna roll with it and put it in cruise control. But if you put somebody like Pitbull in with Shakur that's gonna come, he's gonna throw back and he's gonna counter you, and he has a better chance because that's his style. Yeah. You know what I mean? His styles make fights, and I just feel like, you know, they did the same thing to Tio. Tio still with Top Rank.
Yeah.
And Tio had 2 bad performances where you heard boos, where he even acknowledged that Bob Arum didn't look happy. And he's like, oh, well.
Position. He's in the same exact position
but he still signed with Top Rank.
Right, with the exception of the contract running out. He's in the same exact position as Shakur, man. They both put on 2 sort of boring fights in a row. Yeah.
Now they won and they dominated, but it wasn't exciting fights, which promoters want you to have to get money. Now, obviously, Top Rank tried to sign Shakur back. I think I was wrong on the numbers the other day. I think it was like
they said $3 million for $15 million for 3 years or something.
Yeah, something like that. No, it was like $3 million a year. If I remember correctly.
So 15 for 5 years, I believe.
Yeah, something like that. Well, that's not math. That's not. No, it's 4, I think.
I don't remember anymore.
I think it's 15 for 4, like 3 point something million a year or something like that. Or whatever. However it goes in boxing. But they wanted to sign him back. He declined it. He bet on himself. Now, when you bet on yourself, you got to take a risk because that's a risk. Betting on yourself is a risk. So in the ring, you got to take a risk. And I just feel like it's not in his nature to take risks. It's just not. And he knows I can beat you this way. And if you want to open up and give it to me, I'll knock your ass out. But if you don't want to open up and you want to just cruise control the fight, then both of us can do it. And I think that's the problem with his style. I love Shakur. You know, I got him over Tank right now. But now I'm starting to think the fight with him and Tank is Tank starts slow. Tank doesn't throw a lot of punches. He only reacts off of what you do, Shakur. When I say he, I mean Shakur. He's only acting off of what you do. So some people think the fight might be boring between him and Tank.
22 wins, 10 knockouts only, Gary.
I know.
22 wins, 10 knockouts. By the way, shout out to one of our great fighters, Isaac McCary, in here. He says Shakur sleepy time, Stevenson. So I mean, but I don't feel like you answered my question. You know, by the way, Tank Davis, 30 wins, 28 by knockout. Just in case people. But you know, do you think Top Rank is doing this in order to have the upper hand in negotiations, or do you think, or maybe it's both, right? Maybe this is a way.
Both.
Yeah.
To answer your question, I think it's both. I think Top Rank a little bit is not putting the effort, but then I also think Shakur is not putting on the performance. So that's what I was saying when I was going through all of the things and saying like, hey, he didn't do this. He's risk averse. He's in there with a guy. If you put on a performance, you need to put on. Top Rank can't do nothing about that.
Yeah.
Terrence Crawford, who was his running mate, how many knockouts has he got in a row?
Yeah, Terrence been tearing it up.
He don't talk a lot
against top level opposition too.
If you put Shakur and Bud together, because Shakur talks and he gets you going, but Bud doesn't talk, but he gets you the knockout. You know what I mean?
Bud is 40-0 with 31 knockouts, Gary.
That's what I'm saying.
He's got
so if you put them together,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Bro, look how many knockouts in a row Bud Crawford had.
That's what I'm saying.
Errol Spence, David Avanesian, Sean Porter, Kell Brook, Kavaliauskas, Amir Khan, Jose Benavidez Jr., Jeff Horn, Julius Ndongo, Felix Diaz. It says RTD, so I mean maybe he retired on the stool, just as bad as a knockout. And John Molina Jr., TKO. That was 11 knockouts in a row. And before that, he fought Victor Paul Stoll and won a unanimous decision. The last time he won by decision, Gary, July 23rd, 2016. Bud Crawford has been knocking people out for 8 years straight. At the top of the sport. At the top of the sport, Gary. 8 years straight he's been knocking fools out.
But that's what I'm saying. Like when Bud gets blood in the water, he takes him out. Yeah, he steps on the gas, he gets him out. Yeah. So I'm just surprised that you got people like Bud, Andre Ward, even though Andre Ward wasn't a big KO artist either, and some people thought he was a little boring too. Mm-hmm. Even though I love all of them. Like Andre Ward, I that was my guy too. Yeah. But I'm just surprised that they don't tell him, hey, when you smell blood, you got to take somebody out. You don't have to be so cautious. Yeah. And his style is just so cautious that he's a counterpuncher by nature. Yeah. So he's just waiting for the guy. If the other fighter doesn't bring the fight, he's not going to bring it. Yeah, that's my point.
Jihad the Great says 22 wins against B-level competition with 10 knockouts. He's talking about Shakur Stevenson. Yeah. Jihad bringing the brutality this evening. By the way, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, join the channel to help us grow the channel and as well help support our full-fledged kickboxing promotion here. And with that in mind, Fighters Rep 25 and 26 tickets are now on sale at fightersrep.com, or you could watch them live by joining the channel. And those are happening September 7th at the beautiful Commerce Casino in Los Angeles, and September 21st at the Arion Event Center right here in Pompano Beach. And you can be ringside with Gary Ignorant Behavior if you get your ticket. It seems that, I'm kind of having an epiphany here. It could be that both, like you said, they wanted the leverage to be able to tell Shakur, if they go back to the negotiating table, hey, you're not even worth those $3 million a year based on what you did in your last couple of fights. And it seems like they also wanted to be able to say, in case they lose him, it's not a big loss. Whoever takes him, hey, good on you. But it's kind of like a charity trying to promote this guy because, he's boring. Now, I will say, Top Rank is supposed to be the best, boxing promotion in the world. I mean, it's arguable, I guess. I would always pick Eddie Hearn. I like Eddie Hearn. But they say Top Rank is the big one. And it just seems odd, I
like PBC, but go ahead.
Which one?
PBC, but go ahead.
Oh, Al Hammond. Okay. So, but it seems that they come, they keep coming up with these great skilled fighters and are just having a problem promoting them. You know what I mean? And so it makes me think of the whole Bud Crawford situation, right? Because he wasn't a guy that was boring. He's a guy that, as we just indicated, has been knocking people out for 8 years straight, but he just wasn't promoting as much as they wanted him to. Maybe he wasn't, moving the dial enough for them. But now
here's the thing I would say about. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
Now we have another situation where it's not moving the dial for them. Do you think maybe these fighters are just asking for too much money?
No, what I think is a combination of things.
Yeah.
Top Rank knows good fighters. They know great fighters. And the problem is that you get these fighters like I said, Foster. He's a technician. Is he exciting though?
Listen, Gary, his fight before this one was exciting.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's always exciting though. Well, he's a counterpuncher, and it depends on his opponent. Just like Shakur, it depends on his opponent if the fight is going to be exciting.
Yeah.
It all depends on the opponent.
Gary, I also think though, like it's the sweet science. If it's not exciting, if it's not exciting for you, right, that a boxer is being defensive and slipping and and tagging his opponent and not getting hit, then maybe you're watching the wrong sport.
Well,
right?
see, it doesn't matter what we think is boxing purist or fight purist or anything. It's the casuals always in every sport that makes the money, not the purists. It's the casuals. So, and then my thing is that now Bud was knocking out people, but what was Bud doing? Bud didn't want to talk. He didn't want to do all the antics, the Conor McGregor, the Mayweather antics, the talk. And Keyshawn Davis is a talker now. Keyshawn Davis talks, but
he's exciting, bro. He's exciting.
Yeah, but they don't want to do the promoting thing.
Yeah.
Oshaki, he doesn't do a lot of interviews. He doesn't want to talk, and then his fights can be up and down. Shakur talks, but his fights are up and down. And I just think one thing I think Top Rank does a bad job at doing is knowing their fighters and knowing who to match them up with. I thought Mayweather did a great job with Tank, with Tank when he was managing them, because he gave him flat-footed guys who are gonna come forward and just are gonna be relentless.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But with Tank, you have a guy who's got the touch of death, right? Like he's a finisher, he's a knockout puncher, and not everybody, especially in these lighter weight classes, Gary, has that. Here's what I'm looking at. This is what's coming to mind as well. We're looking at Shakur.
No, I'm saying he got criticized a lot for the style of fighters he was fighting. He was fighting a lot of Mexican fighters that were going to come forward, that were going to be relentless, that were going to be this type of fight, which makes for an exciting fight, which Tank can knock him out. He wasn't fighting slick fighters that were boxers that was going to move around because it wasn't appeasing to the eye. And I'm saying when you do matchmaking, George, what you doing at the beginning of your fights, you put explosive people together for the first fight to get it started, to get attention. It's matchmaking.
Right. No, I hear you, but hear me out though. These guys don't have knockout power.
It doesn't matter.
Tank Davis, listen to me. Tank Davis is a promoter's dream. He's got knockout power and skills and personality. These guys are missing either one or two or all three of those components, and it's just difficult to move them along. Look.
Okay, so look at Tio right now. Tio came from 135 as a knockout artist, right?
Not anymore.
He talks.
Not anymore.
I'm saying he talks. He does all of this. Some people criticize the match.
He dances to Michael Jackson.
He does backflips, all that. Sometimes you put, and people have criticized the matchmaking with Tio.
Yeah.
Why you put Tio in here with this guy or that guy? You need to put him in there with guys that make them look good, that you can sell the fight.
But who's gonna make Shakur Stevenson look good? Who's gonna make and it's happening with a lot of the new guys. Who's also gonna make Devin Haney look good? That's why people hate Devin Haney so much.
But if you put him in there, I ain't gonna lie. That was a good matchup with him and Ryan Garcia, because you got somebody his size that he just can't run around, even though Ryan Garcia cheated now, and that fucked everything up. But if you look at, if you don't think that was on purpose that they put Devin Haney in there with Regis, who was much shorter, much smaller fighter, who was flat-footed, not athletic, that couldn't get to Devin Haney, and Devin Haney could just jab his face off and hit him with the two every time he came in.
Gary, it could be on purpose or by accident or whatever. The point is, Devin Haney just doesn't have knockout power, right? And so you
don't have to knock people out for it to be an entertaining fight.
I know, but hear
me
out.
Keyshawn Johnson, not Johnson, that's a Keyshawn. I'm going football. Did Keyshawn Davis knock out his opponent? But did people say that was the fight of the night? It was not a knockout. It was just action. When we look at Shakur's fight, it was not a lot of action. It was not a lot of punches thrown. That's the problem. And when you look at even Shakur said it himself. He said, "Hey, I forgot the fighter name. He said it on Twitter. it was because somebody brought up, hey man, I would like to see you. I like that. I like the fight. I like the signs. I think you won. It was a fan. I would like to see you let your hands go a little bit more like you did against I can't think of the fighter's name, but he was like, yeah, that fighter came forward and tried to fight. So I let my hands go more. But this guy was moving around a little bit more. So that's what I'm saying. He's literally telling you that style I couldn't let my hands go because it didn't match up with my style. So in that fight, I couldn't get him out of there. But in that one, I could let off on him. I could let off him because he kept coming.
There was Jamel Herring. I think maybe
it wasn't Jamel.
Jamel Herring or
no.
Shuichiro Yoshino. Those are the last two.
No, before that, they told him
Felix Caraballo, Alberto Guevara. Yeah, I mean it's just.
No, it might have been actually I think you might have been right. The first two guys you said, which one? Not Hearing, but
Shuichiro Yoshino.
I think Yoshino. That's the one he said. I think Yoshino. Yeah. I think Yoshino, he was like, he was coming. He was trying to fight.
It's just, but you can't, I mean,
styles, man.
Gary, we can't compare. I don't care who you match them up with, dude. It's not going to be a Tank Davis fight. It's just not going to be a Tank Davis fight, man, because
it's not going to be a knockout. But I've seen fights with him that were exciting where he was in the pocket and he was throwing more than he threw these last two fights. Yeah.
But
I've seen fights like that.
Tank Davis.
I've seen fights.
Yeah, Tank Davis kills everybody, man. He knocks them out. And when he does it, like he had the fight against Pitbull Cruz, was a hell of a fight. Every time he's in there, he's exciting, man. Shakur, Devin, these guys are for boxing purists. That's what they're for.
But here's my thing is, though, with Shakur, if you put him in there with a guy that comes forward and is going to keep coming, he's going to throw more. It all depends on, and I'm not going to take full credit for this. I was, just listening to everybody. And I know somebody else is a boxer. He was like, I'm trying to think, was it Timothy Bradley or who was it? They were like, no, it wasn't Tim. It was somebody else. I don't want to credit Tim with it. I can't think of it. But they were like, and I kind of said, yeah, you're right. They were like, Shakur is only going to go as the opponent. The opponent is going to decide whether this is going to be an entertaining fight or not. Because if the opponent doesn't press, Shakur is not going to throw a lot. If the opponent presses,
and that's why he's harder to promote.
Yeah, but as a promoter, you got to know, like, man, I got to get him in here with some guy.
Yeah,
like Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn was clearly the better fighter, but the guy kept coming. He had what we said, the BBL chin. He was getting hit with everything in the
Brazilian chin lift. That guy had the Brazilian chin lift. Oh, we get it. The cameo. I love it.
But I was just saying,
that's halftime. That's halftime, right? That's halftime celebration.
But no, for real though, it's like, and I said I agree, because he's a counterpuncher. He's waiting for you to make a mistake so he can land a shot.
Yeah,
and he wants you to go at him so he can be defensive. And then when you miss, boom, I counter you. I hit you. But if you not coming at him, because even Clarissa, she was like, oh, he was walking down. Yeah, he was walking down, but was he letting his hands go? He was trying to press the guy, he was trying to get the guy, when he pressed the guy, he was trying to get the guy to throw punches like Tank tried to do to Frank Martin. He was trying to tire him out. Tank was trying to tire Frank Martin out. Shakur was actually trying to get him to throw, like, I'm pressing you, throw something so I can counter you, because that's how he fights. And it made perfect sense when he said it. I'm like, yeah, you're right. He's only going to be as good as the guy across from him. Yeah. If the guy from across from him is not pressing him, he's not going to throw a lot of punches. If they press him, he's going to catch you, move. And that's the thing. The last two fights, the guys haven't thrown a lot of punches either. And that's why it's been boring, because he needs somebody. And that's why I say matchmaking when you're in there. You know what I mean? Yeah, you have to if you know your fighter is not going to react unless somebody is pressing him, you need to, and you want to make it a showcase, which I think this is to your point earlier. Top Rank didn't want to make it a showcase. They didn't care. You're leaving.
They made it. They
So
made it a.
I'll give
They
you
made it.
whoever.
They made it a slow case, not a
Yeah.
stroke case. And then they made a case for themselves at the negotiating table because everybody walking out like that and the camera's panning to it. Man, Gary, that's an ugly look, brother. That's an
And
ugly
in your
look.
hometown.
Oof. Oof.
That adds to it.
Oof.
They're like, so they can say, look, this guy can't even sell. This guy can't even keep his hometown crowd here, man.
Damn, bro.
And that's even more ammunition for Tank. That's why I say I understand you're a boxer and you don't really. A lot of boxers, because even Boots was like, I wouldn't even have Twitter if it wasn't that I box. I don't want to do this.
No.
But I understand that. But part of it, if you want to make the money, you have to do things. You have to step outside of your normal, pure boxing mentality and say, hey, I have to put on a little bit more of a show.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, when you're a fighter, you're a brand. You need to get yourself out there. You don't have to be crazy. You don't have to be over the top like a Conor McGregor or Mayweather or anything like that.
Or Ryan Garcia.
Right. Oh my God. Definitely don't be that guy. But if you're, maybe you're an intimidating guy like Mike Tyson was when he'd come out with the black shorts and the towel on. I mean, it wasn't anything over the top. Or maybe you're the funny guy, or maybe you're the showman, or maybe you're the honorable guy. I don't know what happened to your life.
I don't know what happened either. Hold on, give me a second.
But anyway, I guess my point is, if you're a fighter, and I'm kind of always dealing with this as a promoter myself. Put yourself out there, man. Sell some tickets, sell some merchandise, get you some sponsors, get yourself to the next level, because just coming out and fighting, it's not enough. It's not enough all the time, and now we've seen Top Rank. We've seen what happened with Bud Crawford. And I feel like we might see it now with Shakur Stevenson. And he doesn't seem like the kind of guy, right? For better or worse. For me, it's looking like for worse. But he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that's going to change his personality, that's going to accept the criticism and change. Because even in the corner, while his grandpa's yelling at him and imploring him, go out there and kick this guy's ass and get him out of there, he's arguing with his grandpa, right? In the corner. And so I just don't see him as being a guy that's going to say, you know what, let me change. Let me be more marketable. Let me go after these guys a bit more. I'm seeing him as a guy who's, not going to do that. I'm seeing him as a guy who maybe is just going to stand on his square and continue to do what he does.
And he's referenced that. He said, Devin Haney, I'm sorry, guys, for the light. I'm going to change in a second. I know you only see my teeth.
Oh my God.
But he's referenced that in his tweets. He says that's why Devin Haney got dropped by Ryan Garcia. He tried to appease the fans. But my thing that I would say to Shakur is you have to. Like you said, as a promoter, you have to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
and I appreciate you putting it out there, letting everybody know that is what we do at Fighters Rep. I always try to make sure that the opening fight of the night is a very explosive, exciting fight, because that gets the fans excited, and they're the ones paying for everything.
But think about even when you're matchmaking. I know you have a matchmaker, but I also know you have input because you're the captain of the boat. Captain. But you guys try to make sure when you match people up that it's a good fight, that their styles match up. And that's like I say, it's on a promoter to make sure that you get a good fight, not a snooze fest or anything like that. Try to make sure it's interesting. So I just, and like you said, you make sure the opening fight is with a bang. Like this Terrence Crawford. You see this Terrence Crawford card right now, man? That's crazy, dude. That's a crazy card. You know what I mean? But that's a promoter.
And can I tell you something? I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. But I go back in history. I look at some of Crawford's fights. I think of the Mean Machine fight where, obviously he came through with flying colors, but there was a little bit of trouble there. I think of the Gamboa fight where, again, a little bit of trouble there, but came through with flying colors. I think of the Benavidez fight. Terrence has had some tough fights, man. Like that Errol Spence one wasn't one of them. But Terrence Crawford has had some tough fights. I think Madrimov, Gary, I think the guy's a threat. I think the guy's a threat.
But here's the thing:
and here's
the guy
thing.
may be. Here's the thing: is the guy may be a threat, right?
Yeah.
But the guy may be a threat. But when you look at Terrence Crawford at his level after fighting Errol Spence, having that big fight.
Yeah.
How the hell does your promoter not get you what's his name? Fundora fight. And Errol Spence promoter gets him the Fundora fight.
Yeah.
And see, that's what I'm talking about when I'm looking at this. Errol Spence lost, and he still gets the bigger fight, the bigger name guy, the bigger fight. And so to me, things like that are like literally on the promoter. Yeah.
Yeah, they're on the promoter. The reason I think Madrimov is a threat and why I like this fight, Gary, I think this is going to be a good fight unless Terrence goes in there. Can you
go ahead?
Well, I was saying the reason I think he's a threat, I think it's going to be a good fight. And unless Terrence goes in there and blows him out, it makes me look stupid. But, I think this guy's good, man. I think he's pretty damn good. He doesn't have as many fights, nowhere near as many fights in the pro level as Terrence, but this guy's got a deep, solid amateur background. He represented Uzbekistan. He won gold at the Asian Games, gold at the Asian Championships. He also won silver one time at the Asian Games. I mean, this guy's got a really, really deep amateur record. He's very athletic. He's very quick. He's very smart. And he's a natural, right? He's a natural in this division.
I mean, I'm not saying he's not a good fighter. I think he's a good fighter.
He's a good fighter.
I'm just saying, far as quality of names, because obviously Terrence Crawford don't want to fight Boots because he feels like the name is not a big enough fight. He doesn't want to fight certain fighters. And even they said Keyshawn Davis is calling out Tank Davis. It's like, we're not going to fight Tank Davis. That's not a realistic fight right now at this point in his career. And I'm saying,
I'd watch it. I'd like to watch it.
I would like to watch it, but one of Bud's, I'm saying Bud, but one of Tank's trainers said that.
Keyshawn's a bad boy, man. Keyshawn's a bad boy, man.
I don't think he's ready yet. But hey,
little more.
I'm having some technical difficulties. I'm gonna log out, come back in real quick, see what's going on. Okay.
Yeah, I'll do a quick
so
promo.
give me like 5 minutes.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, while Gary gets that taken care of, I just want to invite you again to Fightersrep 25 and 26. Tickets are now on sale at fightersrep.com, at the beautiful Commerce Casino on September 7th, at the Arion Event Center in Pompano Beach, Florida on September 21st. Obviously, the Commerce Casino is in Los Angeles. You're not going to want to miss it. We've got a stacked card that we're going to be previewing a little bit in the coming weeks, especially on Thursdays. That's when we really focus on Fighters Rep when we go live. You're not going to want to miss it. Join the channel to help us continue to support and build the sport for these young fighters. I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, we're going to give you more coverage post-fight. We're going to be doing all the boxing events post-fight, me and Gary. So definitely tune in. He'll be back shortly, but I just wanted to make these announcements. Don't forget to subscribe and share this with your friends. Tell your friends about Fighters Rep. We talk about boxing. We talk about combat sports. And we're the only YouTube channel where you help grow a full-fledged kickboxing promotion. Where else can you say that you do that? So I appreciate you guys joining. Also, anything you spend on Super Chat, Super Thanks, buying merchandise in the links below, it's all just going to help me reinvest back into the promotion and build up these amazing fighters we've got coming through the ranks here at Fighters Rep, right? So let's give Gary a second here. But yeah, I like this Israel Madrimov versus Terrence Crawford fight. Look, Crawford's got a ton more fights than Madrimov, right? He's got 40 fights to Madrimov's 11. But both are undefeated. Madrimov does have a draw. Both of these guys are undefeated. And, Madrimov has a deep, deep amateur career. And I think he's athletic enough, he's young enough, and he's a natural He's a natural super welterweight. Terrence Crawford moving up to this division. I mean, let's not forget how far down Terrence Crawford came from. He's going to be taking on Israel Madrimov, a champion in the division. This is going to be just a fantastic fight. And Gary mentioned the undercard as well. Let's take a look at who's on the undercard, right? We've got Andy Ruiz Jr. taking on Jarrell Big Baby Miller, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. Isaac Pitbull Cruz taking on Jose Valenzuela. I like that fight a lot. And obviously, we're big fans of Isaac Pitbull Cruz. Martin Bacoli versus Jared Anderson. I think this is going to be a really good fight as well. And I can't wait to see Jared Anderson, our American heavyweight, back in there doing his thing. David Morrell versus Radivoje Kalajic. I'm probably not saying that correctly, but he's had some good fights. He's been in there with some good people. I think he's coming off of a win on that Pro Box channel on YouTube where he's been competing. He's a guy, if you don't remember, that fought Artur Beterbiev. He put up a decent account of himself, but like everybody else who fights Beterbiev, he got stopped. And then we have Andy Cruz versus Antonio Moran. Cruz is 3-1. That's what his record is listed as. I don't know if that's correct. Let's take a look at that real quick. But yeah, 3-1. Pretty odd taking on Antonio Moran, who is 30-6, but they're probably doing it because they think Moran is kind of on the way out here. So, that's pretty much it. That's all I've got for you guys. Listen, knuckleheads, tune in again on Thursday. We'll be going live again. I will be dropping content in the interim. I do want to get Oshaki Foster on the channel. That's something I really want to do, to talk about how he was robbed in that last fight. And go ahead, subscribe, join the channel, and we'll talk to you soon. We'll see you again Thursday live, but be on the lookout, subscribe. We will be dropping more content. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you.